You already had your chance.
You shouldn't have been here speaking at all.
These poor children. Were you entertaining other men?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
You were?
Yes, because Devon was out with other females.
DNA result is standing between an engagement and a breakup. Ms. Lassio is in this courtroom because her fiancé, Mr. Abbott, has made his position absolutely clear. If 7-month-old Aubrey is not his biological daughter, the relationship ends.
I'm here today to save our family. I'm here today to show Jacob that he is the father of our 7-month-old daughter, Aubrey.
Ms. Lassio is devastated and desperate for the result to go in one direction. Mr. Abbott was already packing before the court date arrived. Everything they have built together is sitting on the edge of one sealed envelope.
That I have made a mistake, but I know he is the father of Aubrey.
Mr. Abbott's distrust did not materialize without cause, and the court is about to find out exactly where it came from. He stopped believing in the relationship long before today, and the damage to his confidence. Ms. Lassio runs deep enough that he was prepared to walk out before they even got here.
She was pregnant, and we were very excited. I told family members, we went to a paternity place to find out if she was actually pregnant after.
The question hanging over the room is not just about Aubrey's paternity. It is about whether this couple has anything left to save once the result is read. Something broke between them, and it broke badly.
We had taken an at-home test, and they had told her she was, and
the cause of the breakdown becomes clear quickly. Miss Lassio was unfaithful to Mr. Abbott, and the timing of that infidelity lines up directly with the conception window for Aubrey. She does not know who the father is.
I had just recently gotten back together. We were on a little break, and we were supposed to have this great Easter weekend and go camping and everything.
That uncertainty has been living inside their home for 7 months, while Mr. Abbott showed up every day and loved a child he was not sure was his. The question of why he waited 7 months after the birth to reach this breaking point is one the court is sitting with quietly.
And I don't remember why we were fighting, but we were in an argument.
Miss Lassio frames the infidelity around an argument that temporarily fractured the relationship. After the fight, she connected with someone from her past, and when she and Mr. Abbott reconciled, they also resumed physical involvement without protection around the same window.
Your Honor, she also cheated on me with him a year ago and kept it a secret. And
the honest arithmetic of that situation puts the paternity odds at roughly even between 2 men. One of those men is her fiancé, and the other is someone she pulled back into her life during a moment of conflict. The situation carries no clean exits.
Thankful for my friend telling me. If he would have never told me, I still wouldn't know to this day.
This was not the first time Ms. Lassio was involved with this other man. She had cheated on Mr. Abbott with the same person the previous year. She hid it, returned to the relationship, and then the same pattern repeated itself.
That Jake is with her, I believe that's only something the father and daughter can have. I know there's step-parents out there that have great relationships.
Now that second occurrence has produced a baby whose paternity is in question, and Mr. Abbott is left holding the full weight of both betrayals at once. Trust does not typically survive that sequence twice, and he is standing in this courtroom as proof of that.
With their children, but the bond that they have together.
Judge Lauren addresses something Miss Lassio needs to hear plainly. Wanting Mr. Abbott to be Aubrey's father with every part of herself does not influence what the biology says. Desire and DNA operate independently of each other.
So we can move forward past this.
And so you're an involved father?
Very involved.
The bond Mr. Abbott has built with this baby over 7 months is real and visible, but it is not biological evidence. The only thing that settles this is science, and the court is the place where that science gets delivered, regardless of what anyone in the room is hoping for.
I feed her, I change her diapers, I'm there. Every minute I'm not at work, I'm there.
Something surfaces that reframes just how much Mr. Abbott has already invested in this family. He has been the father figure for Miss Lassio's older son, a child who is not his biological son, for a significant stretch of time.
The hospital, did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not sign the birth certificate. And
you did not?
He showed up for that child consistently, and he showed up for Aubrey throughout the pregnancy and was present at the birth. The thought of that level of sustained commitment meeting a negative result is genuinely difficult to sit with. This is a man who has been choosing this family repeatedly, even while carrying doubt.
No, I did not, and that was a very awkward moment. Because I wasn't sure if Aubrey was mine. And
one detail reflects well on Miss Lassio in the middle of everything else working against her. When Aubrey was born, she advised Mr. Abbott not to sign the birth certificate until the paternity question was resolved. She did not want to legally bind him to a child who might not be his and complicate both his life and Aubrey's going forward.
Yes, Your Honor, I did. I contacted him through Facebook, and he wanted nothing to do with it at all whatsoever.
That decision required her to voluntarily delay something she wanted: a committed, documented father for her daughter out of fairness to him. It is a small thing, but it is not nothing.
He told me, have an abortion, it's not mine, I can't have kids. I heard every excuse from him, and
The other man in this case contributes nothing that earns him any sympathy. He has shown zero interest in Aubrey from the beginning, and when the pregnancy became known, he pushed for it to be terminated. He is not in this courtroom, and he has not been in Aubrey's life.
She's beautiful.
Thank you.
But I can see in your eyes that you really don't know.
I don't. And I'm here today to find out, Your Honor.
Contrast between his absence and Mr. Abbott's sustained presence is stark, and everyone in that room can see it clearly. Miss Lassio's fear is written across every part of her expression. She needs the result to confirm what her heart has been insisting for 7 months.
And so are you certain that there is no chance that this relationship can withstand this if, in fact, you are not?
Mr. Abbott has drawn his line, and he has held it consistently. If Aubrey is not his biological daughter, he says the relationship cannot continue, and the trust that would be required to move forward simply will not exist. Like and subscribe, because this result does not just determine paternity, it determines whether a family stays intact or falls apart.
Lassio versus Abbott as it pertains to 7-month-old Aubrey Ann.
7 months of bottles, sleepless nights, and quiet devotion are about to be measured against a single document. Judge Lauren reaches for the envelope, and the courtroom goes completely still.
Lassio, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Abbott, you are not her father.
A wedding got called off, and a 4-month-old baby girl named Selena is the reason why. Miss Todd is in this courtroom trying to prove that Mr. Foster is Selena's father, while Mr. Foster is here because he has serious doubts he cannot move past.
I called it off was because it was one day, a friend of hers, she wanted to go hang out, and Miss Todd told me that
Miss Todd admitted she was unfaithful during the conception window, and that single admission collapsed their engagement before it ever reached an altar. Now they are standing before Judge Lauren Lake trying to determine whether the relationship and the paternity can both be salvaged. One result is about to answer at least one of those questions.
it was her friend and his girlfriend, so I'm like, okay, I don't got nothing to worry about.
Mr. Foster's suspicion did not begin with a confession, it began with a text message. He had no issue with Miss Todd spending time with a male friend because she told him she was going out with the man and his girlfriend. She came home the next day, and the man sent her a message saying he had a good time and wanted to do it again.
Went back to the place, then it just happened. We used protection.
It just happened?
Yeah, she just.
Sound like y'all was planning it to me.
No.
So was this the only time you had sex with this gentleman?
No mention of a girlfriend, no couples outing. Just a text that confirmed the story she told Mr. Foster was not the story that actually happened. That is where the trust started breaking.
No, Your Honor.
You didn't know that, Mr. Foster?
This my first time ever hearing about.
The full truth about that night comes out in the courtroom, and Mr. Foster is hearing parts of it for the first time. Miss Todd had planned all along to spend time with just this man and not with a couple as she had claimed. They were physically intimate on that occasion.
Actually found out Miss Todd was pregnant. Were you happy or not?
Actually, no. I told her that you need to go find your baby daddy.
And it happened a second time as well. She says protection was used on both occasions, but that detail is about to become significantly more complicated as the case progresses. Mr. Foster sits absorbing information about his own relationship that he was never given the chance to know before today.
Because it's not me.
So when she initially told you that, your first reaction was, this is not my child?
Yes, because me and Miss Todd been together
3 years of being together without protection, and Miss Todd never became pregnant during that entire stretch. Then she is involved with another man, and suddenly a pregnancy follows. Mr. Foster's doubt is not irrational. It is a direct response to a pattern he can see clearly. 3 years of nothing, and then this.
More than one time before you were engaged.
Yes.
So how'd you get to the point where you found out she cheated, but you still asked her to marry you?
No,
Timing does not work in Miss Todd's favor, and no amount of reassurance changes the arithmetic that Mr. Foster has been doing in his head since the moment she told him she was expecting.
we was already engaged first.
She said you weren't.
We was.
Were you or were you not, Miss Todd, engaged when you had your...
Miss Todd's credibility takes a a direct hit when the question of their engagement status at the time of the affair comes up. She claimed they were not yet engaged when the infidelity occurred, but that is not accurate.
Messages showing that asking him to come to my ultrasound, my appointments with me, he didn't come to none at all.
She was already engaged to Mr. Foster when she chose to be with this other man. The lie is not a minor detail. She cheated on her fiancé, misrepresented the timeline, and is now angry that he wants to cancel the wedding. The court is not particularly sympathetic to that sequence of events.
Because in your mind, you're thinking, this is the man I was engaged to be married to. We were having unprotected sex.
Ms. Todd wanted the full experience of a supported pregnancy photos, presents, everything that comes with an engaged partner. Mr. Foster spent those months believing he might be investing emotional energy into a child that was not his.
Ms. Todd admitted that the other guy was the father. I was in Vegas. I received a phone call from my son.
He was not being cold or absent out of cruelty. He was protecting himself from bonding completely with a situation that might not be his reality. The parallel experiences of that pregnancy, her feeling abandoned, him managing private doubt, is a portrait of how thoroughly the infidelity damaged what they had.
Stating that Mrs. Todd didn't have a place to stay. Once I made it back home, I sat her down at the table.
Then a detail surfaces that changes the probability picture entirely. The protection used during the affair reportedly failed at some point. Miss Todd had not disclosed that until now, and the significance of it is immediate.
Certificate that you were acknowledging you were this child's legal father.
Yes, I did.
So at that point, you just decided to step up and say, I'm going to be this child's, because listen.
Mr. Foster's mother adds her own perspective. She believes Miss Todd is only pointing at her son because the other man rejected both her and the baby entirely, leaving Mr. Foster as the only remaining option. Whether that characterization is fair or not, it lands in the room and it sticks.
Whether or not we determine you are the biological father today, let's be clear, you are the legal father.
Despite carrying doubt that ran deep enough to nearly end the relationship, Mr. Foster was present at the hospital when Selena was born. He went further. He signed the birth certificate and insisted the baby carry his last name. His own mother and a lawyer both advised him not to sign.
It's been hard for you to even testify today, and I see the look in your eyes. You've tried to step up to the plate for this baby, even though people advise you not to. How is this whole situation?
He did it anyway, and his reason is one that cuts through all the noise in this case. He knows what it means to grow up without a father's name attached to yours, and he refused to let that be Selena's starting point, regardless of what the biology might say. Like and subscribe, because that decision is about to meet its consequence.
It's affected me by a lot, like far as by me growing up.
Every piece of this case pulls in a different direction. A broken engagement, a lie about a couple's outing, a failed condom, a mother and lawyer ignored, and a birth certificate signed out of empathy rather than certainty. All of it lands here. Ms. Todd wants her fiancé back and a confirmed father for her daughter.
Mr. Foster are her father.
I told you so.
Mr. Foster wants the truth and a reason to trust again if one exists. Selena is 4 months old and completely untouched by all of it. Judge Lauren opens the results, and the answer that has been buried under 3 years of relationship and months of doubt is finally about to surface.
I told you. She looked just like you. She looked just like you.
11 years together, a 4-year-old child, a canceled wedding, and now a paternity dispute over a 7-month-old son named Gay. Miss Greenhouse called off the engagement last month, and Mr. Thompson responded by walking away from his financial responsibilities entirely. He and his mother believe Gay was conceived during an affair Miss Greenhouse had the week before they reconnected after a break. Miss Greenhouse brought him to court, and Judge Lauren is about to wade into 11 years of accumulated damage to find the truth underneath it.
So I was going to marry Gregory. We were dating for 11 years off and on. I have a 4-year-old son by Gregory, and I also have a 7-month-old by Gregory.
These two have history so layered it barely fits inside one courtroom. Mr. Thompson claims he was the one consistently fighting to hold the family together throughout their relationship. Miss Greenhouse says she loved him. He was her first boyfriend, and that love is why she endured as long as she did.
8 years, you said.
8 out of the 11. Every time I brought this back together. And she used to say it then.
But she reached a point where his behavior became something she was unwilling to commit to for the rest of her life, and she pulled back from the altar before it was too late. A decade-plus relationship ending a month before a wedding sets a specific kind of tone for everything that followed.
You only with me, or you only try to keep this together because of SJ, which is my first boy.
The trust between them collapsed long before any paternity question surfaced, and the courtroom can feel exactly how long that collapse has been building. Mr. Thompson says Miss Greehouse would weaponize his commitment to their first child, SJ, whenever he tried to hold things together. She counters that his efforts were never really about her. The
Baby, man.
Your Honor.
Yes, Miss Thompson.
Greg doesn't give me money. If anything, when they fall on hard times, I help y'all with rent.
grievances between them are so deeply stacked that Judge Lauren has to keep redirecting the proceedings back to the reason everyone is actually here. Baby Gay keeps getting sidelined by 11 years of unfinished arguments.
You have never
I
called
help
Greg
y'all
and
with
asked
light.
for $20 into another day to hold you over?
Nope.
Never.
You know
Okay.
what? You know what, Christy?
Okay.
The break that preceded their reconciliation is where the paternity question originates. Mr. Thompson is aware and was aware at the time they got back together that Miss Greenhouse had been involved with someone else during that period. He knew it and still chose to reconcile.
What I'm trying to understand is if she admits to you that while we were off, I slept with someone, and then you decide to get back together.
He helped pick the baby's name. He was present. He even signed the birth certificate when Gay was born, despite Miss Greehouse suggesting they test first. The behavior of a man who believed the child was not his does not match what Mr. Thompson actually did in those early months.
You know this, right? This is not a surprise to you that she was...
Miss Greenhouse was the one who proposed getting a DNA test done before he put his name on that birth certificate. Mr. Thompson dismissed that suggestion entirely and signed anyway. He participated in naming this child and stepped into the role voluntarily.
I'm Kristen Greenhouse's youngest sister. I'm only here because I was there during the time that Chrissy and Greg rekindled their relationship.
You're saying you were there.
The question Judge Lauren is examining is whether the canceled wedding changed everything, whether his doubt about Gay's paternity is genuine or whether it arrived conveniently after the relationship ended. The timing of his current position is something the court is not letting slide.
And you overheard something as it related to Mr. Thompson not wanting to have a DNA test?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you hear?
Since the separation, Mr. Thompson has not contributed financially to Gay's care. His mother watches the dynamic between her son and Miss Greenhouse and admits they make good parents individually, just deeply incompatible partners.
Your son speak to you? Do you have a doubt of your own?
G does look exactly like Chrissy.
She has concerns about whether Gay resembles her son or her first grandchild. The observation is noted, but it does not carry the weight of science, and Judge Lauren has no patience for courtroom visual comparisons when an actual test result is coming. The grandmother's instinct and the DNA are two entirely different things.
He does.
And SJ.
This boy has an extra large head. His daddy do, his brothers do. He don't have it.
Neither of these two can complete a sentence without the other cutting in, and the interruptions never stop long enough for anything to be fully resolved. Their communication pattern inside the courtroom reflects exactly what 11 years of unresolved conflict looks like when it finally runs out of space to hide.
Seed for a deposit on a Chevy Impala 2008 for $750.
Yes, ma'am.
Two children are growing up watching this dynamic play out, and that reality sits uncomfortably in the background of every exchange. The paternity question is important, but it is sitting on top of a relationship that has much deeper structural damage underneath it.
You're saying you put this down payment down on a car for
Our
him.
family, no, not for Greg, for our family at the time.
Separate financial dispute has also made its way into the proceeding. Miss Greenhouse is seeking the return of a $750 deposit she made on a car while they were still together, a vehicle she says was intended for the family.
You know it too.
Okay,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
What can I speak, Your Honor, please?
You already had your chance. You shouldn't have been here speaking at all.
These poor children.
Mr. Thompson says he paid that amount himself. Judge Lauren is not here to arbitrate a car payment, but the dispute illustrates how thoroughly everything between these two has broken down. Like and subscribe, because the DNA result in this case is described as genuinely surprising, and the room does not know what is coming. Neither does anyone watching.
Exactly.
How can you grow up like this?
Exactly.
You all are 0 to 1 million.
Everything in this case, the affair during the break, the voluntary signing, the name selection, the canceled wedding, the sudden financial abandonment, is about to meet the one piece of evidence that none of it can override.
Of Greenhouse versus Thompson, when it comes to 7-month-old G. Thompson, it has been determined by this court.
Gay is 7 months old and has already been named, documented, and partially claimed by a man who is now standing in a courtroom questioning his own decision. Miss Greenhouse came here needing confirmation. Mr. Thompson came here needing an exit or a reason to stay. Judge Lauren opens the results, and whatever comes next is going to surprise everyone holding their breath in that room.
Mr. Thompson, you are the father.
A wedding plan down to the last detail got canceled 3 months before it was supposed to happen. Miss Baylor had the date, the dress, and a wedding planner sitting beside her in this courtroom right now.
His accusations have ruined our relationship. It has tore us apart. We've been together since I was 17.
Mr. Earls called the whole thing off because he doubts the paternity of their 3-year-old son Marcus, and he is not expressing a small percentage of doubt. He says he is 100% certain the child is not his. These two have been together since they were 17 years old, and this is where they have arrived.
And he moved in with us, and then we had 2 beautiful daughters. And then after our
3 children and a decade-long relationship brought them to the edge of marriage, and then one paternity question stopped everything cold. Miss Baylor and Mr. Earls have 2 daughters together in addition to Marcus, and until recently a wedding was the next step forward. Rumors reached Mr. Earls, and once they did, his certainty about Marcus shifted to absolute denial.
Yes, Your Honor.
You certain this child is not yours?
I'm certain. I'm 100% sure that is not my baby.
Miss Baylor calls them exactly that, rumors, and insists the doubts he has built around them are wrong. She came to this courtroom with her wedding planner because she still wants to get married. He came to cancel the whole thing.
So this had to be really serious for you to call off the wedding just 3 months before.
It was very serious.
What happened?
Miss Baylor does not deny that she was unfaithful at some point. She admits it, but she insists the timeline of that infidelity places it well outside the conception window for Marcus.
Born April 22nd.
Miss Baylor, you're saying the baby was born early, and so your conception date would actually have been later.
Mr. Earls is not buying that framing because his own calculation of the dates lands differently. The infidelity occurred around July. The conception window for Marcus also falls in July. That overlap is the foundation of his 100% certainty, and he is not moving off it based on her explanation alone.
Than what is projected here.
Yes.
Mr. Earl, do you think the baby was born early?
Miss Baylor's defense rests on the claim that Marcus was born prematurely, which would push the actual conception date later than July. Mr. Earls has a specific counter to that argument. Marcus weighed 6 pounds 9 ounces at birth, and Mr. Earls says that is full-term baby weight, not the weight of a premature infant.
Why are you cheating in the relationship?
I just felt like he was still lying to me.
Legs.
So who was this person you cheated with?
He believes the premature birth story was constructed to make the timeline work in her favor. 2 people looking at the same baby's birth weight and arriving at completely different conclusions about what it means is exactly the kind of dispute that only science can settle.
His sister's cousin.
So this was a one-night thing, a fling? What happened?
Then information surfaces that puts Mr. Earls in a significantly less comfortable position. He has fathered 2 children outside his relationship with Miss Baylor through unprotected encounters with other women. He was not faithful either.
Immediately have doubt?
Yes, I already knew, like, it clicked to me. I was insecure that she cheated, and that's his baby.
And those children exist as evidence of that. Miss Baylor knew about them and was still prepared to marry him. She is still prepared to marry him now. The court cannot ignore the contrast between his willingness to overlook his own infidelity while using hers as grounds to cancel a wedding that has been a decade in the making.
May I submit my evidence?
Absolutely.
Look,
what did you bring for the court?
It's just a picture to show everybody in this courtroom.
Mr. Earls acknowledges that he is not without fault in this relationship. What he says he cannot accept is the lying, specifically the inconsistency in how Miss Baylor has described the timeline of her infidelity. He requested a lie detector test as part of his countersuit. His brother testified that during periods when Mr. Earls was away.
Minded young man.
Yes,
how do you
I am.
get to the hospital and decide, okay, I'm gonna give this baby my last name as my junior, and I don't believe he's mine?
Miss Baylor was observed being flirtatious with another man over the phone and left the house overnight on at least one occasion. The lie detector results came back, but they did not give Mr. Earls the clean confirmation he was looking for. Miss Baylor had not lied outright, but the answer she gave in court differed from what she had been telling him privately.
Look, I don't know. I just know I made a mistake.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
I signed it.
Despite carrying full-strength doubt about Marcus's paternity, Mr. Earls signed the birth certificate and gave the boy his last name. His stated motivations involve a combination of pity. Miss Baylor had no one else supporting her at the time, and the fact that he had long wanted a son with her.
During the last 10 years, other than the one time you admitted to cheating, have you had sexual intercourse with another man?
Whatever drove the decision, the legal consequence is the same regardless of what today's DNA result says. His name is on that document, and that is not undone by a courtroom proceeding. He created a legal relationship with Marcus before he ever had the biological confirmation he is now demanding.
You answered yes. The lie detector determined that was the truth.
The lie detector portion of this case did not deliver the clean verdict Mr. Earls wanted. Miss Baylor passed without being caught in an outright lie, but her courtroom account diverged enough from what she had been telling him privately that his distrust deepened rather than eased.
If you're not this child's biological father, is this relationship over? Where do you go from here?
It's over. She look, that lie detector test.
He is a man who says he values honesty above almost everything else, yet his own history with other women and other children makes that standard difficult to apply only in one direction. The asymmetry in how accountability is being distributed in this relationship is not subtle. Like and subscribe, because the DNA result is going to force a decision neither of them is fully prepared for.
She passed it because, I already knew she was lying to me all this whole time anyway. She passed it though.
Every element of this case has a counterweight. His certainty against her timeline argument, his infidelity against hers, his signed birth certificate against his current denial, his demand for truth against his own inconsistencies. 3 children, a decade together, a canceled wedding, and a wedding planner sitting in the gallery, all waiting for one document to determine what happens next. Judge Lauren reaches for the results, and the answer that has been pulling this couple apart for 3 months is finally about to land in the room.
It has been determined by this court. You are the father.
I told you.
5 years together and a canceled wedding, all because of doubt surrounding a 4-year-old boy named Jaden. Miss Davies says Mr. Hunter let lies and rumors pull him away from his son and destroy their plans to get married.
The wedding plans, Mr. Hunter?
Yes, Your Honor, because things I've seen, I don't really trust the things she do.
Mr. Hunter says the doubt was never about rumors he caught her cheating himself, and her history before that made him question Jaden's paternity from the very beginning. 2 people who were weeks away from an altar are now standing before Judge Lauren Lake instead. The wedding is on hold and everything depends on what comes next.
I've seen too much to keep going on with this, so I have to make sure that this child is mine.
So,
the timing question sits at the center of this case, and it is worth examining directly. Jaden is 4 years old and they have been together 5 years. If Mr. Hunter says he has always had doubts about Jaden's paternity since the boy was born, the court wants to know why it took 4 years.
Were you entertaining other men?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
You were?
Yes, because Devon was out with other females.
And an approaching wedding date for this to become a courtroom matter. Something accelerated the decision to get tested, and whatever that something was, it brought them here before they exchanged vows rather than after. That timing may have saved them both from a much more complicated situation.
It's not true. I caught her first, so that's when I started.
You caught her doing what?
Relationship did not start with dishonesty. It started normally and then deteriorated. Mr. Hunter began cheating first, and Miss Davies started receiving calls from other women and finding evidence on his phone.
I told you she was pregnant, Mr. Hunter. How about you? What did you feel in that moment?
Immediately I said I have doubt because it was just, I couldn't trust her. So that's why I came here. I need to understand what was really going on.
She responded to his infidelity by getting into an affair of her own while they were still together. That affair is the direct source of the paternity uncertainty around Jaden. One person's cheating triggered another's, and a child ended up at the center of the fallout neither of them fully thought through.
Before we move on with our relationship.
When she told you she was pregnant, did she tell you she was 100% sure?
When Miss Davies discovered she was pregnant, she did not tell Mr. Hunter there was any question about who the father was. She admitted in court that she wanted Jaden to be his. They were in a relationship. He had been supportive, and emotionally it made sense to her.
Ex-girlfriends, they were calling my phone.
You know what, Miss Davies? I don't doubt your testimony.
So I
Seems
felt
like you all
that
have a
I
lot
wanted
going on.
to step out and have fun too.
But wanting something to be true and it being true are not the same thing, and Judge Lauren does not let that distinction go unaddressed. Feelings and intentions have no seat at the DNA table, and Miss Davies knew the full truth even when she chose not to share it.
Because he was doing it also.
He didn't get pregnant, you did.
You're right.
And that's why we're here.
Mr. Hunter's presence in Jaden's life has not been what a child deserves from a father, and Miss Davies acknowledges it while somehow still planning a wedding with him. She has watched him maintain distance from her son while she continued building toward a future with him.
Relationship like with Mr. Hunter.
He's present in the home, but he does not physically interact with Jaden.
That contradiction is difficult to explain cleanly. If the boy you believe is your partner's son is being treated like an afterthought, the decision to keep moving toward marriage raises serious questions about what that marriage would actually look like for Jaden going forward.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor. We just had a birthday party for Jaden. Devon didn't show up.
Miss Davies brings physical evidence to support her argument that Mr. Hunter is the father. She points to Jaden's hair and the way he carries himself as matching Mr. Hunter. She highlights Jaden's height significantly above average for a 4-year-old and notes that Mr. Hunter is notably tall.
Oh, Miss Davies, I heard you just say I know for certain I have proof.
I have evidence right here.
Jerome, may I see that?
While neither she nor the other man in question shares that trait. The way they both stand, their physical mannerisms, she presents all of it as biological inheritance. The court listens, but physical observations are not the same as confirmed science.
Look at Mr. Hunter's hair and look at my son's hair. They both have curly hair, nice hair.
Both of them have drawn the same line going into the results. If Jaden is not Mr. Hunter's biological son, he says he is walking out of the relationship and out of their lives entirely. Miss Davies agrees that outcome makes sense. If the test confirms paternity, they say they are willing to try to rebuild what the doubt destroyed.
Hunter, if today's results prove that you are not Jaden's father, where do we go from here?
I'm done.
The problem underneath that agreement is that both of them have been unfaithful. Neither fully trusts the other, and a positive result does not automatically repair what years of cheating and suspicion have worn down. Like and subscribe, because this result is going to determine whether a family stays together or dissolves completely.
Done with the marriage and everything. I'm just wash my hands with everything.
And if you are you going to try to?
Judge Lauren has everything she needs, and the envelope is the only thing left that carries any authority in this room. 4 years of Jaden's life have passed under the shadow of a question his parents both knew existed and neither addressed directly until now. Wedding was planned and then stopped.
Mr. Hunter, you...
A little boy has been growing up in a home where his father's commitment to him has been conditional on a test result he knew nothing about. Whatever the result says, Jaden deserved clarity long before today, and Judge Lauren is about to deliver it.
Are not the father.